Should I button my coat?
Ready? Okay, the Board of Education is reconvening into open session at 7 p.m. Before we begin, I would like to say a few words. On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to say we hope you are all home, staying in place, and are safe and healthy. As you can see, several of us are working from home and therefore not wearing a mask. Dr. Ketziora and others who are working from the district office are wearing a mask and keeping social distance. Because we are not in our boardroom, you can't go to the back and fill out a public comment form. Instead, if you would like to comment on either of the two public hearing agenda items, you may do so by one of three ways. First, on our website, you can click the public comment link that we have posted on the front page of www.mvusd.net and on the board agenda. Second, you can email the administrative assistant to the Board of Education at cjaugui@mvusd.net. Finally, you may also call to have your comment transcribed. For English, call 951-571-4921. For Spanish, call 951-571-4920. This information is on the screen. We will be accepting public comments up until the public hearing is open. Like districts across the country, we still have business to take care of, and 33,000 students and their families who rely on us, so we can't just stop working. I am very proud of all that has been happening during this unprecedented school closure. Under Dr. Ketziora's leadership, we have managed to continue to feed our students and begin our transition to distance learning. Dr. Ketziora will share more information with his updates. On behalf of the board, I want to thank Dr. Ketziora for his hard work and also acknowledge and thank our dedicated employees. Our school buildings may be closed, but the school year continues. So we are continuing to have our board meetings virtually while also trying to encourage public participation. To help districts conduct board business during the health crisis, the governor has two executive orders in place, easing the Brown Act requirements. Executive Order N-29-20 suspends any requirements for physical presence of board members or of the public at meetings and establishes new requirements for conduct of telephonic or electronic meetings, which is basically how we are allowed to conduct the meeting as we are tonight. Executive Order N-35-20 provides more flexibility for board members to receive emergency updates, but does not permit discussion or action by quorum outside of duly noticed board meetings. I won't speak for all members on this part, but this is all very new for me. For all of us, it's challenging, but we're going to push through because the future of our students depends upon our district. I'm going to ask for your patience as you watch, as you listen, and as you try to participate. We are going to have a few bumps, but we're going to be resilient, just like our 33,000 students who are adjusting the way they learn and our teachers who are adjusting the way they teach. Thank you for your patience and understanding. May we have a roll call, please?
CJ Johnson present.
Jesus Holguin present.
Susan Smith present.
Errol Peden present.
Marcia Locke present.
Martin Rex Kedziora present.
Robert Verdi present.
Susanna Lopez present.
Maribel Maddox present.
Early this evening, the Board of Education convened into closed session to discuss student discipline cases, public employee employment appointment, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reelects, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, At this time, there's nothing to report out of closed session. Now, we now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Ketzior, will you lead us, please? Please stand.
Dr. Locke, I think Dr. Kizior was on mute. Do we want to
Yes, it's going to.
go ahead and begin?
Yes. Can you do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Okay.
want to just lead us, I guess?
Sorry.
Okay.
My apology. I got
Nope.
so excited I got up. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance again and please stand? And there's a flag on the TV, but also one here in the room we're in. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the
to
flag
flag
of the United
United
States,
States of America,
to the republic,
the republic which
and
stands
one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible, liberty and justice.
Justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. I apologize.
Thank you, Dr. Ketzior. Okay, we're going to move now to item E2, amendment of dates of future board meetings. The 2020 board meeting dates were approved at the organizational meeting on December 17, 2019. Upon further review of the meeting dates, it's deemed necessary to adjust the schedule for 2020. The adjustments are as follows. The April 28, 2020 study session at 5 p.m. will be canceled. The May 5th, 2020 regular meeting at 7 p.m. is canceled. The May 12th, 2020 regular board meeting at 7 p.m. will be held. The May 12th, 2020 awards and recognition ceremony at 4 p.m. is canceled. The May 19th, 2020 regular meeting, 7 p.m. canceled. The June 2nd, 2019 regular meeting, 7 p.m. canceled. The June 16th, 2020 study session at 5 p.m. canceled. The June 16th, 2020 will be a regular board meeting, 7 p.m. And those are the changes that are recommended. Do I have a motion to approve the amended calendar as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr.
CJ
Johnson,
Johnson. Yeah, CJ Johnson present.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Now we're going to move to item E3. Dr. Ketzior will provide the superintendent district updates and informational reports. Dr. Ketzior.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. Can you can hear me, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just want everybody to know out there, we really miss you tonight. And as I look in this boardroom that I'm in, I always looked forward to coming downstairs at 7 o'clock when the board meeting began and seeing all of you here. And tonight, I'm going to remember that when I do this superintendent's update, because I just want you to know you're all missed. And it doesn't matter that you're here with us wherever you are, but we really appreciated when you were here. So in keeping with our format, our mission statement, which we still are following, is to ensure that all students graduate from high school and that we continue to work with our students to prepare them for higher education or a viable career path. And then our 11 commitments, I want to highlight one tonight. I get a lot of different emails from different people, and commitment number 8 is our leaders and accept the responsibility and the sacrifice, ensuring equity for all. And being a leader is not about the power. Leadership is about creating change, improvement, and making the sacrifices needed to get the job done. And I want to recognize tonight, and I hope she's listening. We sent her a message that she would be recognized this evening, and she's still going to get a certificate like we normally do. But Mrs. Wheatley is a fourth grade combination teacher at Marino Elementary, and she's already started distance learning. And I realize there's lots of hiccups and lots of bumps in the road, but this is one of the success stories. And I feel like that she has embraced what we are hoping for in distance learning. She said she had 17 of her 29 students choose to attend her advanced math group. And she said, how is exciting is that? Our kids have such potential. If we just believe they can achieve, they will rise if we lift them up and support them even in challenging times. I'm truly blessed to be their teacher. Be blessed as always, Alice Wheatley. And this is one of the emails that she sent to me. And she said, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And I think that truly, embraces what we're trying to do. Is we have a different circumstance. And thank you, Alice Wheatley, for taking that challenge at Marino Elementary and making sure your students, and I have an email that she sent I'm going to read because I think this is what she sent to me last night. She said, that was the email from today, but she said, wow, how exciting to get Chromebooks for our first and second graders. Y'all are amazing. I wanted to share how proud I am of my students and parents. We began holding our first Zoom class on April the 3rd. We are up and running already as a distance learning class. Thankfully, I've taught a combo class last year, and this year I've been utilizing the digital components of our curriculum. So my kiddos were good to go with the technology long before our schools were closed. The journey has been so exciting, and my kids are enjoying our Zoom sessions. They especially love the breakout groups because we always collaborate in teams, and this feature allows them to work with their teammates once again. I've also been able to provide assistance to those students who need extra support by setting up a Zoom session with them and a parent. This opportunity to do distance learning has also given me the opportunity and time to teach an advanced math Zoom class, which several kids want to participate in. They are a highly motivated group and excited. Won't it be fun to see their MAP scores in the fall? Thank you all for all this amazing training, PD, that you have provided. I just wanted to share all the positive aspects of the school closure. Be safe and stay well. Now, I realize that everybody's not Alice Wheatley, but there are a lot of Alice Wheatleys out there. And I want parents to know and students to know that this is where you will go soon. And I want to thank Alice Wheatley for setting that tone with our distance learning and for sharing this information with us. So thank you very much. And then I want everyone to know that we still look at the goals and expectations of our district, and we have 3 goals and 14 outcomes that we work on, and all of the work that we're doing. And that's why taking distance learning is so important. You can still accomplish these goals. And that's something we don't want you to lose sight of. This is important in meeting our mission statement, but also more important in you learning as a student and having a high quality education when you leave the Moreno Valley Unified School District. I'm proud to announce that our district was one of 3 chosen in the nation this year by the National School Boards Association. We were a grand prize winner of 20,000 and over enrollment. They choose 3 in the country every year. And the Community Wellness Center was chosen for this honor. And I want to thank Connie Edwards and Lynn Sheffield and all of the people in the student services team who helped make the Wellness Center a possibility. Nada Cadil, the principal. And I want to thank Dr. Locke, because when she was a substitute administrator in the district, she helped initiate this charge and get this started. So we have a short video that they're showing. We missed the awards this year because they were canceled. So you can all celebrate at home with us. We should have received this award on April the 6th, but they're going to be showcasing this throughout the nation.
Sponsored by Sodexo.
Can you turn it up?
To achievement for underserved and vulnerable students. Moreno Valley, California. In Southern California, just 60 miles east of Los Angeles, is Moreno Valley, where public schools aren't only meeting students' academic needs, but also the basic needs of students and their families. Our district serves approximately 33,000 students, and 84% of them are free and reduced lunch. And we have a very high student population of homeless students. There was an attendance from one of our different issues in their life that make counselors.
It's a bad echo. Yeah, but you still have to lower the volume so that it doesn't echo off of mine.
Mindfulness is truly, truly helping. We have family yoga in the kids' college.
Okay, Dr. Kitsiara.
Okay, I'm ready to go forward, right?
I'm getting there.
Okay, okay. So, you hear that or you couldn't, and I apologize. It was really exceptional done for our district. So I'm moving to the next slide, and I hope you're following me.
Hold on.
I'm almost there. So one of the things that we're continuing to do during this COVID-19 school closure is we're continuing to offer students opportunities with advanced placement. And so one of the things that I want everyone to know is that the College Board has been very helpful in this. And they have links that are on here that you can go to and help your child prepare for the AP test. There's a registration that you can do for free. It's on April 16th at 7 p.m. It's at 4 p.m. Our time, and you can go there and get support for passing the AP test. We also have Schmoop, which is on every Chromebook, and you can, if you go through Clever and you click on there, Schmoop is there, and it has AP test prep, among many other support for students. So I hope you all check that out. It's a ubiquitous platform for everyone in our district, and it's available, and I hope you use it. We've had many students that have succeeded in different capacities, and one of them is the Southern California Cyber Cup Challenge. Valley View High School, this is all while they've been out of school. They've been still competing in Cyber Patriot championship programs or events. And so the team from Valley View High School placed in the top 8, moving to the state championship, and the only team from Valley View High School that did this in our district. And so they'll be going on to the state championship in May of 2020. And then another area that we continue to excel in, and we're very proud of the coaches and the teachers and the families for encouraging your children to be involved in this competition. A few short years ago, we didn't have students who participated in this, or we had very few. This year, we're very proud to announce this is one of the largest turnouts we've ever had, and over 30 students, they did this virtually, and over 30 students were awarded champions of the virtual Riverside County competition on Friday, March 26th. And now they're going to compete virtually at the state level, and that's May 8th through Sunday, May 10th. And we're just very proud of these students and their tenacity and their dedication to continue competing, because there were schools and districts that did not continue because of the closures and did not follow through. So we're very proud of the Moreno Valley Unified School District students and their families for continuing this great opportunity within our school community. And then the Riverside County Office of Education, they had a virtual campaign for poetry. And I guess, are we going to show that video or not? We're not going to show it. Okay. So we're not going to do that. But these are wonderful videos. But I want you to know our students, Isabel from Northridge Elementary, Olivia from Ridgecrest Elementary, Arturo from Northridge Elementary, Jessica from Mountain View Middle School, and Helica from Canyon Springs High School, and Nicole from Valley View High School. They were honored in this virtual poetry tournament, and there were over 500 submissions throughout the county. And social distancing and closed schools were among the popular themes of our 6 MVUSD winners who were honorable mention. And congratulations to those poets. And thank you for sharing your works of art. And I want you to know that we have students I just got announced tonight who continue to compete in the virtual contest. And we have winners that we'll announce next time of the next competition they have. They have one every week. So I hope you'll continue to join in that, students, because you are placing and you are showing the Moreno Valley way of being a champion, regardless of the weather or what's happening outside. In Northridge Elementary, you're not going to be able to see this, but this or hear this. This is a student. This is Lisbeth Magana's, her kindergarten class at Northridge, and they had a STEAM day on April the 7th. And I wish you could see the joy in this student's face when she sees this experiment. You can do it? Okay. Well, I just want you to watch. It happens quickly, but it really is something that I truly like because it shows the adventure and learning and what we're doing in distance learning. Her parents were recording her. It's really quick. So I don't know if you saw it or not, but she is excited about that. We were excited to see that too. So thank you. And then I want you to know that before the closure, we had started a Hearts United Champions for Peace team of people within our district that is clergy and outside people and internal people. We had another meeting where this was done virtually on a Zoom meeting, and they continue to do things. They have a new opportunities art contest. They have a host of things that they want to continue to do virtually. So we're continuing with that. And the winner was Guadalupe Gomez from Canyon Springs High School, who's in the 12th grade and is the vice president of the anti-bullying club in that contest. So we appreciate all the Hearts United clergy out there and what they're doing and how they're continuing to meet with us and think of ways to keep students engaged in our school district. They're working on creating posters and stickers with the winning submission, t-shirts, and other volunteer opportunities. And then Vista Del Lago High School's emergency medical team program was able to make a special delivery of personal protective equipment and N95 masks to the Riverside University Health System. And that's just one of the many ways that students are lifting to rise and showing their commitment to our community. The students at Moreno Valley High School are very excited about the Performing Arts Center, and the progress continues on, and students send me emails and parents how excited they are to see the walls continue to go up. That construction is continuing. And I just want you to know that that's very exciting as it happens. And I appreciate all the students who send me emails and text and call me and say how excited they are to watch this continue. The next part of this presentation is going to review what we've done with COVID-19 since their closures happened. So just for the community, on March 13th, the public health officer closes the schools March 16th through April 6th. And then on March 17th, the public health officer extends the school closure through April 30th. And as you know, Moreno Valley Unified School District was on spring break March 23rd through April 6th. And then April the 1st, the public health officer extends the school closure through June 19th. And you probably all know that our calendar ends June 12th. So that's the closure for the whole county of June the 19th. And that does not extend our school year. It only is when the closure has been extended to at this moment. So communications to staff and parents, we have every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that we've done since March 23rd. We scaled back. We were doing communications to staff and parents every evening during the week of March. And then March 23rd, we scaled back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I want to thank all of you for all of the emails and the comments that you send me, how much you look forward to those and how they help you stay connected to the district. It helps me stay connected to you. And I don't know who's enjoying them more, me or you, but thank you. It seems like a mutual admiration society. And the website is updated with each parent email as well as frequently asked questions. And immediately we began the public health conference calls with education providers Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And currently they're once a week on Wednesday. And we hear updates throughout our district about the county and what's happening. So I just wanted parents to be aware of that. One of the successes that we've had is our grab and go lunch and breakfast. We do serve breakfast and lunch at each one of these. And this is from 11 a.m. to 1. And we stopped serving some sites beginning March 23rd, but nearby schools provided lunch. There's been 191,556 meals served since the school closure. And I want to thank the nutrition services people and the custodians and the principals and assistant principals who are out there every day. But I think you can see from these pictures, they're excited and they decorate them, the cabanas that are serving the lunches, and provide a lot of just support for students and families as they drive up and see this. And we do ask students to wear a face mask or a face covering and practice social distancing and make sure that they wash their hands and that they're following all the rules that the health department has set forth for us. And then our educational services team has created a video. Are you ready to go the distance? It's a distance learning video. It's April the 9th is premiered, and educational services was featured explaining the ins and outs of our distance learning program. And the community found out where to go for information, what resources are available, and get answers to some of our most frequently asked questions. But if you go on our website, it's Family Learning Resources. It's right there on the page. And you can watch this video and other things that will help you. We also have a website that I mentioned with where you can go. There's a link where it shares how you can get printed packets at each school. And those are the packets are updated, and there were 300 Chromebooks fixed during the closure to date. And so those were Chromebooks that needed to be fixed. And then tomorrow, 4,600, maybe 4,700 students who are in first and second grade in Moreno Valley Unified School District are going to receive a Chromebook during the Grab and Go lunch. We've provided additional help at the schools for these 2 days. The first grade is going to be tomorrow on Wednesday, April 15th, and the second grade is going to be on April 16th. And I want to thank Susanna Lopez and the Technology and Innovation and Assessment team for making this happen. And we're going to continue to consider kindergarten on an as-needed basis and to work to see how we can provide Chromebooks to those students. And so this has been a huge undertaking of our district, but all students in grades 1 through 12 after April 16th will have a Chromebook in their hands to do distance learning and to do reinforcement, not just to do the distance learning with your teacher, but there's all kinds of apps on the Chromebook, like I said, Schmoop and other activities that you can do to reinforce learning. And then I want the community to know that the professional development offerings, Dr. Buster and the professional development specialists and the ed services headed by Maribel Maddox have done an excellent job of offering professional development for all of our teachers. As all of you know, this was a huge shift, a huge transformation in how teachers teach and how students are learning. And I realize, parents, that you need help too, and help is on the way. So I don't want you to think that we forgot about you. But so far, they've done 7,000 hours in 9 days since April 2nd. And so that's sessions that people have attended. Each session has up to 75 participants. Each session is recorded and uploaded to professional development webpage. And there's many examples of different distance learning. And we're very proud of what we're offering. And tomorrow there are more sessions that start at 9 o'clock in the morning and go till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So all of our teams, Dr. Verdi with the Human Resources team has been collaborating with on the mutually developed emergency MOUs with both associations. I want to thank the associations and Human Resources for working tirelessly to provide guidance and support for our employees. Maintenance and operations team have been cleaning schools. Payroll and accounts payable teams have been busy making sure employees and vendors continue to get paid. Purchasing has made sure we have enough face masks and gloves in stock for our staff. And transportation, our transportation team, when there's a need in our community and they contact public information and they have someone sick or they can't get to a grab and go site, they're delivering meals to certain people's homes. So you can see that our operation has responded to everyone in our community and will continue to do so. And then I'm very proud of our administrative professionals. And on April 22nd, Administrative Professionals Day will happen in our district or in the nation. But I want to thank all of them. And I want to thank Claudia Hargay and Brenda Tejas, who are working in my office right now, Regina Castellano, for their what they do. But all of you, make sure you thank them. And that's one day you really have to thank them, but you should thank them every day, because I do. And just thank you all for helping us lift to rise. And you can see that we're continuing to rise and we're lifting each other up as we work together to make sure that the services are provided for our students and families during this closure. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Katsura, for a wonderful report. Okay, we're moving now to item E4A, resolution number 2019-20-58, Adult Education Week, April 8th through 12th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Oh, CJ Johnson. Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Susan Hogan, aye.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden, Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Holguin, can you share some information about this resolution, please?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Locke. And thank you for the opportunity to present this resolution. I wish we could have done it, face to face with the person who is going to receive it, which is I believe the administrator in the adult education program, Ms. Bazanos. But let me tell you a little bit about this resolution. Understanding that education is not just important for kids, the Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education is glad to recognize Adult Education Week. This particular week, we're leaving April 13 through April 17. In the Moreno Valley Unified School District, we are so lucky that we have our community adult school who provides a vital role to the community. Not only does it provide a way for adults to complete high school studies in their own time and pace, it also provides instruction to those in our community who need English as a second language and citizenship courses, as well as career and technical training for adults seeking career changes or enhancements. We know that to break the cycle of literacy, we must focus on educating parents. And so the Moreno Valley Unified School District Community Adult School provides instruction for parents and families, ranging from pre-birth classes through a wide spectrum of parental education and family literacy courses. And I have to tell you that personally, I know because I experienced it myself, the power of adult education is just incredible. I have to tell you that when I came to California, that was the first thing that I did. I was enrolled in the adult education program at the time. This was back 35 years ago, 4 years ago, a long time ago. But I can tell you the power then was amazing. The power today is still amazing and it's getting better. And we are so lucky and so glad, and thanks to the leadership in this district, that we have maintained this program in our community, because not every district in the community or in the state has the adult education program. So we are thrilled that we have it here in our community, serving thousands and thousands of families. And at some point in time, people were thinking that the school district is to educate K-12 students only. And I would say, well, if we didn't have the adult education program, we could not talk about parent and family engagement, because that is the way that we help families, parents, to get engaged in the education of their K-12 students. So I am so glad that I have this opportunity to present this resolution, and it is signed by the 5 board members and Dr. Kitsiora. So thank you, Dr. Luck, for giving me this opportunity, and I am so glad that I am able to do this tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. You were the perfect person for that one. So.
Thank you.
We're going to move now to E4B, resolution number 2019-20-59, Day of the School Bus Driver. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve the resolution designating April 28th as the day of the school bus driver.
Okay, CJ, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Johnson, will you please share information about this important resolution?
Yes, I will. I would love to have done this in front of some transportation people, especially bus drivers, Kenote McDonald and Stevie Rodriguez. But obviously, because of the circumstances, they cannot be here. So hopefully someone from transportation, or many people from transportation actually, are probably watching or listening in. So before I read the resolution, I've got some personal things that that I've written that I want to make sure that I communicate to them. But there is one thing that's in my agenda that I'm going to read, and it says resolution number 2019-20-59, Day of the School Bus Driver, April 28th. The state of California recognizes annually the 4th Tuesday of April as the Day of the School Bus Driver. This resolution establishes April 28, 2020 as the Day of the School Bus Driver for the Moreno Valley Unified School District. District administration appreciates the dedication of the district bus drivers who transport students daily. So again, since Mr. Keontae McDonald and Stevie Rodriguez can't be here, hopefully either they're listening or their manager or someone's listening so they can pass on this resolution to all of that great team. So your many hours of continuous training on and off the road is emblematical of your love and devotion to our students, staff, and others. So on behalf of the Board of Education, Dr. Ketziora, the superintendent, cabinet, and the entire district and the city, we present this resolution to you, which reads, whereas annually on the fourth Tuesday of April, the people of California should officially recognize all school bus drivers for their continued and excellent services in the youth of the state. And these drivers are deserving of special public recognition and the highest communication. And whereas the safety of our children rests in the hands of trained school bus drivers for up to 2 or 3 hours each day. And whereas personal time and energy are expended by school bus drivers in their initial training, maintaining a certain license, perfecting their driving skills, and accruing added knowledge of school bus laws through continuing education classes, and whereas school bus drivers through counseling and disciplinary techniques are sometimes asked to assist the students in appropriate interactive peer and adult behavior. And whereas school bus drivers often face natural and unexpected hazards in the performance of their duties, and whereas school bus drivers exhibit patience and kindness towards students, the parents, and school staff in the performance of their duties, and whereas school bus drivers consistently demonstrate an awareness of and direct attention to the emblematical maintenance of the school bus and safety conditions of the school bus routes. And whereas many school bus drivers perform their services for thousands and thousands of accident-free miles year after year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that April 28th, 2020, all school bus drivers of Moreno Valley Unified School District are officially recognized for their continued and excellent service to the youth of this district, signed by the Board of Education, along with our superintendent, Dr. Martin Rex Ketziora.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. You know, and as you said, they're very valuable employees with a very, challenging job at times. Okay, we're going to move now to resolution E4C, resolution number 2019-20-65, National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is April. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Just
Mr. Johnson,
aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Peden, will you share information about this resolution, please?
Absolutely. It's an honor to express the importance of National Child Abuse Prevention Month in April. The Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education, along with the National Committee to Prevent Child Abuse, will celebrate the month of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. National Child Abuse Prevention Month recognizes the importance of families and communities working together to prevent child abuse and neglect, and promotes the social and emotional well-being of children and families. We understand that districts have a responsibility to provide a safe school climate, that child abuse and neglect is a threat to the community's way of life. Therefore, during this month, more than any other, we encourage the community to share the responsibility of helping all children to have safe, positive, and meaningful life experiences. So thank you very much for allowing me to express the importance of National Child Abuse Prevention Month. It's an honor to bring that forward to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. Okay, our last, but definitely not least, our last resolution E4D, resolution number 2019-20-48, the Administrative Professionals Day of April 22nd, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second. I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Ms. Smith, can you share information about this resolution?
Well, the Board of Education has proclaimed April 22nd, 2020 as Administrative Professionals Day in the Moreno Valley Unified School District to recognize and honor the outstanding services and contributions provided by our administrative professionals. Administrative professionals' duties span the gamut. They are the link between parents, teachers, and administrators, and often the first contact parents have with our school. When parents walk into a school, the person that they're seeing in the office is an administrative professional. Administrative assistants tend to be the glue to any department or school and the go-to person for any questions or issues. Every single department has administrative professionals working there. There is no, from the superintendent's office to the bus drivers to nutrition services to the school sites, everybody has administrative professionals. So on April 22nd, we show our gratitude for all of the work our administrative professionals do across the district. Thank you.
Thank you to my colleagues, for sharing information about these 4 very wonderful, important resolutions. Now we're going to move on to item E5, staff responses to public comments made at previous meetings. Dr. Kitzior, do we have any responses?
Dr. Locke, there are no comments this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Moving to item E6, public comments on agenda items. The Board of Education will be respecting recent executive orders N-29-20 and N-25-30 from the Governor of California, the Health Officer of the County of Riverside, and guidelines of the Center for Disease Control related to maintaining public health and safety at this time. The Board of Education will accept public comments on agenda items electronically only. Any person requesting to speak to any item on the agenda may do so at this time or when the item is addressed by the Board of Education. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on each agenda item to 21 minutes. Board Bylaw 9323B, Section 5. Per Board Bylaw 9323, twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. Do we have any public comments?
Dr. Locke, there are no public comments on agenda items.
Thank you. We'll now move to item E7, public comments on non-agenda items. The Board of Education will be respecting recent executive orders N-29-20 and N-25-30 from the Governor of California, the Health Officer of the County of Riverside, and guidelines of the Centers for Disease Control related to maintaining public health and safety at this time. The Board of Education will accept public comments on non-agenda items electronically only. The Board of Education encourages public comments. During this section, staff may briefly respond to statements or questions or may ask questions for clarification. The board may refer to staff or other resources for factual information, direct staff to report back at a subsequent meeting, and or direct staff to place the agenda on a future agenda, topic on a future agenda. If someone wants to lodge a complaint against an employee, the appropriate form may be obtained at any school or the community education center. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes on non-agenda items, regardless of the number of issues to be addressed by the individual. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on non-agenda items to 21 minutes. Per Board Bylaw 9323, Twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. With Board of Education consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional speakers speak only if they have something new to add. Board Bylaw 9323 B-C Section 5. Do we have any public comments?
Dr. Locke, at this time, yes, we have one public comment on non-agenda. Number,
Will you please do that?
and I'll be sharing the screen so I can read the email that was sent. Dr. Locke, the public comment is from Tina Marquez. Good evening, Dr. Kidzera and Board of Education. My name is Tina Marquez, and I wanted to let you know what parents are saying in regards of the grab and go lunch. We, the parents, are really grateful for what the school district is doing to keep their students feeling close to their school by going every day to grab and go lunch. They are thankful for the educational resources because their students are still learning, and they can't wait for the distance learning next week. Thank you, Dr. Kidzera, for being part of dinner time with your daily updates. Thank you, Tina Marquez, Parent Ambassador. That's the only public comment on non-agenda items, Dr. Locke.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, moving now to item F, public hearing F1, disclosure of memorandum of understanding between the Moreno Valley Unified School District, MVUSD, and the Moreno Valley Educators Association, MVEA, regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus response. Dr. Verdi, will you share information pertaining to this item, please?
Thank you, Dr. Locke. I appreciate that. This item gives members of the public an opportunity to comment on a memorandum of understanding that was developed with our Teachers Association in light of the emergency closures that the district is dealing with. And in working very closely with both associations, the district is happy to recommend school board approval of these items tonight.
Okay. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on a memorandum of understanding regarding COVID-19 coronavirus?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion to open the public hearing carries 5-0. Are there any speakers wishing to address this issue?
Dr. Locke, currently I have no public hearing comments submitted as of yet. If within we go for the approval and I do get any that are submitted via email, I will let you know.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing at this time?
I move that we close the public hearing.
Do I have a second? I'll second it.
I have a question, Dr. Locke. I have a question, Dr. Locke, and
Yes.
I'm not sure if maybe Claudia can help us with this. So if we close the public hearing, what happens if you receive any other comment?
They have until we address the public hearing. So I'm still giving another few more minutes. We are going to move on to the next item, which is to approve. We still have a few more minutes where you guys will have a discussion regarding the item being presented. And
Okay.
if I get any, I will make sure I notify Dr. Locke.
Regardless if the public hearing is closed.
Correct, because of the situation that we're in and the emergency of the COVID-19.
Yes. Yeah, I just want to make sure that if there's any comments that they have the opportunity to come forward. Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
So we'll read them at that time then. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes. Dr.
Okay.
Locke, if I can I got a motion made by Ms. Smith and I haven't gotten a second yet to close the public hearing.
I think
Dr. Locke seconded it.
I second it.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Locke.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion to close the public hearing approved 5-0. Now we're going to move to item F2, the adoption of the memorandum of understanding between the Moreno Valley Unified School District, MVUSD, and the Moreno Valley Educators Association, MVEA, regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus response. Dr. Birdie, do you have more information to share pertaining to this item?
I just wanted to add, Dr. Locke, that I do want to thank the leadership in the association for working so closely with us as we develop this memorandum of understanding to best address this particular issue. I think we have really taken to heart the safety of our employees while also looking at the needs of our students, and again, was proud to work on them, both of these MOUs with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birdie. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? At this time?
I just want to echo that. Thank you to the administration and to the leadership of the employee groups for agreeing on this memorandum of understanding and allowing the district to move forward and continue providing services to the students given the current circumstances, and the district can do what needs to be done. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I'd like to add, this is the same thing, the idea that you were very proactive, in working with our with our groups, in order for our students, so I think that was very important, for us to move ahead. And it was great that our associations were so great to work with. Anything else? Any other comments? And do we have any public comments yet?
No public comments yet, Dr. Locke.
Okay. So do I, at this time, then have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. The motion carries. Okay, moving on now to public hearing F3, disclosure of memorandum of understanding between the Moreno Valley Unified School District, MVUSD, and the California School Employees Association, CSEA, and its Chapter 410 regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus response. Dr. Birdie, will you talk about this item again, please?
Thank you, Dr. Locke. So once again, this gives members of the public an opportunity to comment on the special memorandum of understanding for the emergency situation that we developed with our classified association. And again, it was worked on together very collaboratively, and I really appreciate how quickly the union leadership was willing to jump in and work with us on this so that we can address safety concerns.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on a memorandum of understanding regarding COVID-19 coronavirus between the Moreno Valley Unified School District and the California School Employees Association and its Chapter 410?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do we have any speakers wishing to address this issue?
Dr. Locke, I'm currently looking at my emails. I still have no public hearing comments provided. I've texted the phone lines that are taking phone messages and nothing yet. I will let you know if I do get anything while we continue to move on to the next agenda item.
Then we can sign. Okay, do I now have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Peden, oh, sorry, Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now we'll move to item F4, adoption of the memorandum of understanding between the Moreno Valley Unified School District, MVUSD, and the California School Employees Association, CSEA, and its Chapter 410 regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus response. Dr. Birdie, do you have anything to add to this memorandum?
Just again, Dr. Locke, the district is recommending the board approve the mutually developed memorandum of understanding with CSEA. And again, I just want to reiterate how much we appreciate the classified unit being so willing to work with us on things like the grab and go lunches and some of the things that happened right from the onset of the closure. They've been very collaborative with us, so we thank them.
Thank you, Dr. Verdi. Do I have a motion to open that? Oh no, to have a motion to approve the memorandum.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the Moreno Valley Unified School District and the California School Employees Association, and it's chapter 410.
Okay. Before I move to the second, Claudia, do we have any public speaker comments on this item?
Still have not received any public comments, Dr. Locke.
Okay, now I'll move to, do we have the second to the,
Second.
okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Holguin?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay, moving now to item G, the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay, moving to item H1, A, approval of resolution 2019-20-20-66 COVID-19. Dr. Ketzior.
Give me 1 second, Dr. Locke. Now you can unmute yourself.
Dr. Locke, I had a discussion with you about this item, and I've got some prepared information that I want to read, and but I would like to withdraw resolution 2019-2066 COVID-19. This was a common resolution that was being adopted across the state by many districts due to the emergency conditions brought on by COVID-19. It was intended to give us more agility and flexibility to quickly react to situations that may occur. However, after hearing from various stakeholder groups, I decided to remove it, and I had a conversation with you about that, Dr. Locke.
Yes.
So this particular resolution doesn't impact funding or fundamentally change how we can respond to the health crisis. And so it is not critical to address this issue at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ketzior. So moving, since that item has been withdrawn, we're going to move now to item H2A, approved declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2020-21 school year. Dr. Verdi, can you share information pertaining to this item?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Locke. So this is actually an annual item that we bring forward every spring, and we ask the board to review. And it gives us an opportunity in certain circumstances to consider hiring teachers that have a variety of different emergency credentials. It's not something that we normally do. It's an emergency type situation in hiring. If we need to consider some folks who might be completing a credential or near the end of a program, or they may qualify for certain emergency credentials to get them in the door, so to speak. We always try and recruit and hire the most highly qualified teachers, but this particular item does give us options in the case of especially difficult to find positions. And so we bring this annually to the board, and we are recommending approval tonight.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments regarding this item?
So would this apply to all teaching positions or just to certain hard to fill positions?
It could be used in any credentialing area, Ms. Smith, but as a district, our practice has been to really only try and utilize it for hard to find positions. For example, There was actually one social science position that we utilized that particular emergency waiver on for this past year, but by and large, it's for mostly hard to fill positions.
Okay, I noticed we only had 2 teachers retiring on the consent agenda. So I was a little surprised there weren't more teachers leaving, but okay.
It's still early in the year, and so things could change. And remember, we did have the INSIP item. We had the INSIP item approved a couple of board meetings ago for folks to let us know if they were making plans to move on. So that could be updated as we get into the summer months.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, Dr. Verdi, is the hard to fill items, positions, we're mainly talking special education, math, and science. Is that still the same? Difficult to find?
That's correct, Dr. Locke. Those are traditionally the 3 areas that are most difficult to find, and the ones that we may sometimes work with a student teacher or someone finishing a program in one of those credential areas to hire them and bring them on board. And we have a lot of support in our district for folks who are starting out in the teaching ranks. We have a great professional development department that helps guide them through the trainings that they need to fulfill in order to become fully credentialed teachers. And you're absolutely right, though. Those are the 3 areas that sometimes we have to utilize these emergency credential admissions for.
Okay. Are we pretty successful when it comes to finding people for special education? Because I know with subs, they're only allowed to, if they don't have a credential, they're like with 30 days and then they have to bring somebody else in. So these individuals, though, would be able to stay in that classroom?
That's correct. That's correct, because they would be considered credentialed for the purposes of that. So they are hired by us. They're not substitute teachers. They're regular teachers with a different credentialing area to kind of bridge that gap until they become fully credentialed. The intention is that they start with one of these emergency permits, but then eventually after they go through some additional trainings or maybe some additional exams, they become fully credentialed.
Okay, thank you. Board members, any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve this item?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve it.
A second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Levine?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Now we're going to move to item I-1A, second reading of meetings and notices board bylaw 9320. Dr. Katsura, can you share information pertaining to this item?
Thank you, Dr. Locke. This is an opportunity for the board. This is the second reading of this item, and this is to change the beginning time of the board meeting from it's now the closed session begins at 5 o'clock and open session begins at to the public begins at 7 o'clock. And this would change that item to 4 o'clock for closed session to begin, and then 6 o'clock for the open session for the public. And so that's the major change. And again, this is the second reading, and this would be an opportunity for the board to have a discussion and vote on this.
Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions or comments regarding this item?
So earlier in the agenda, we approved the upcoming board meetings. So would all those times then be changed?
Yes.
Okay, because we did approve them with the old times.
Yes. That would be amended, and then the next board meeting would be presented. And then also we could, Dr. Locke, you could tonight consider beginning this in July so that the public, it becomes aware of it. That'd be up to the board, but whatever, I'm just saying that in order to get the public aware of it and to let people know, you could announce that at each board meeting coming up, whichever, you choose, but that's just an idea.
And any other?
I have a question.
Yes.
So can you share, I guess, Dr. Katsura, can you share a little bit of background of this change I guess I'm just trying to understand what, not the purpose, but what triggered this change, I guess. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, and Dr. Locke, you can help me if I don't say
Yeah.
everything.
I
But
like to
oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, part of the thing is, when we start, I've heard a lot of feedback and comments. When we start at 7, it's really late, and we want to make sure we continue to recognize, and celebrate, our students. And so when we start a board meeting at 7, we end up having kids, children, young children, out till like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And I know we want to continue to do the recognitions, the celebrations by moving it earlier, the board meeting earlier, then, we can get kids home and to bed earlier. And also what I've been hearing as people talk, is there's a big lull between when people are done work or administrative stuff and when the board meeting starts. This way they also, can go to the board meeting and get home at a more reasonable time. So that was, what was my, reason I was interested in, starting it earlier.
I think
Go ahead.
one of the major things was about students and their families, about them being here later, and this would give us all an opportunity to recognize them still, but they get to leave at a time that is more suitable for them to get home and get prepared for the next day. I think that's the biggest consideration. While there are other influences, I think we have to know that our students, them having the chance to, the recognitions are important and valuable, but I think it's also valuable for students to have, their families to get home. And that was what Dr. Locke, one of the things you talked about was making sure they had time to do their homework and, plan their evening better so that it's not so much consumed by being here.
Exactly. That was the primary, reason. And watching, like I said, the young, because it's important for us to recognize them and celebrate them. But
thank you for that explanation, Dr. Locke and Dr. Getsura. And I just want to make a couple of comments on this. And I'm not against this move at all. Absolutely, I understand the reasons, and I support that change. Because you're mentioning it's because of the students. We want the students to go home early. And I would emphasize, and I'm glad that you, forget which one of you two mentioned the recognition piece. That is something that I would not like to, eliminate or, go that direction at all, but continue the recognitions. I think the recognitions are very important. In my opinion, I think recognitions are important. And if this move or this change in time allows us to still continue the recognitions, and that's part of the reason to have the time for the recognitions and then send the students home early. I think that's a valuable reason. I just have to say, I've been serving on this board for over 17 years. And even before the 17 years, I attended meetings for, I believe, 3-4 years as a translator. So I've been observing meetings for 20 years, and in 20 years, the time has been the same. So this is, for me, it's a major change. Even if it's only 1 hour, but it is a major change. Again, because of the reasons that you mentioned, I fully support that. The only thing that I would, of course, I have to make arrangements to leave the office 1 hour earlier, but that's not a big problem. I don't think it's going to be. I have a lot of support in my work. But the one thing that I would emphasize again, the recognitions piece, and one more piece that Dr. Katsura mentioned that this could start in July. I would just encourage my colleagues, board members, to consider enough time to give notice to the people so that people know of this change, and it doesn't happen like right away, and people have time to adjust. And I'm saying this because, again, 20 years, at least 20 years being starting at the same time, people may be used to certain time, certain routine. And even when it's going to be beneficial, I think that is a good practice to let the people way in advance, this is going to happen as of so and so and so that people can adjust to their routines, especially those that are going to be recognized, those that are going to have presentations or, whatever the case is, those that watch at home. whatever the case is. So I would just encourage that, enough notice, enough information goes out to the entire community to notify them of this change. So with that, I would encourage to think about when is the best time to start that change. And I think those are the comments that I wanted to make. Thank you.
I think July is probably a good time for the change because it's during the summer anyway. So it would naturally flow that might be a better time to do these changes. I think you'll have to admit, though, that 20 years ago, we didn't have nearly the student recognitions that we have now. We're recognizing a lot more students, takes a lot more time. And I think that in the last few years, really, probably in the last 6 or 7 years, we've started those recognitions.
You are absolutely right, Ms. Smith. 20 years ago, recognitions were very little during the board meetings. Recognitions were done in different settings, different ways, but not during the board meetings. So I'm very happy, very proud that this board is supporting and continuing the recognition. So you're absolutely right in that point. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, because I think the recognitions were done in the schools themselves, and they didn't come to the board like we have them come now. That's the only difference. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm retired, but I'm just wondering down the road, if you said it's been well over 20 years, I'm just wondering, as we move on, I wonder if that's going to deter good people from running, because people like you, Jesus, have well, I shouldn't say you. Other folks have jobs that they have to work a certain number of hours. I know that if I were still working, even though I was not a hands-on guy, there's no way I would leave that early, I don't think. But that's just me. I never left. I was like Dr. Kitsera, I never leave in the daytime. I always left at night. So that would have been a hard adjustment for me. But as far as going forward, I'll go along with it. It's not going to be.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Johnson, that starting early means leaving the office early, and I have to make arrangement for that, either once a month, twice a month, whatever the case is. I just have to tell you, when back 17 years ago, 18 years ago, when I ran for the board, I knew when the board meeting started, when it ended, and at the time, I tell you, there was no such thing as 10:30. At the time, the meetings ended at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, a couple of times or so. But when I made the commitment, when I ran for the board, I knew exactly what I was getting into. So, your comment about considering running for the board, that's one item that people would have to consider.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I think there's some valid comments here. I think CJ's, Mr. Johnson's comment as it relates to changing the time and putting barriers for those that want to work on the Board of Education is something that we should consider. What I would like to say, though, is that I think one of the main reasons why I'm supporting this move from 7 to 6 is for the purpose of not only our young people that are in the audience working to get recognitions, and I think having recognitions is very important. However, I think we also have to recognize that we don't get to public comment in some cases until 9 o'clock. So not only do we have young people that are in the audience waiting to be recognized, and in some cases falling asleep, and it's 8 o'clock by then, or even later in some cases. Those that come to our board meeting at 7 o'clock that are our community members that have concerns about issues that are going on in the district can't even address those concerns until, in some cases, and in many cases actually, and this is one of the things that raised this as an issue for me, until 9 o'clock, which is extremely problematic in a public institution. Always be interested in making sure that we have public comments that are timely. In addition, we have been in many circumstances where we have had our board business not being able to even get to that till 10:30, 11 o'clock. And some of these are very serious issues that require a lot of capacity on our side of things, and we need to have serious discussion. So although I agree that recognitions are extremely important, so is board business, and so is public comment. So if we don't want to make a move like this, my suggestion is that we really need to think of a better way to do recognition in a way that we can make sure that we do all of these things that are extremely needed in as it relates to running a public institution and the public's meeting. So I support this, moving it from 6. I don't think it's going to be too problematic in terms of folks that want to run for elected seat and to be able to serve on this seat, as it's a couple times a month. I think those arrangements can be made. However, it's definitely something we have to recognize that it's a potential barrier, and that's something that should be taken extremely seriously. So, I mean, I'll leave that there. I support this move. However, I would also be willing to move away from this, and if we can come to an agreement as a Board of Education that we reorganize the way our meetings are, so that we are not getting to board business so late, and we are not having young people in the audience so late for recognition. So there would have to be a discussion of one or the other.
Yeah, I just want to say, I stated that I support this change, and for the reasons given. And I think at the end of the day, we are here elected by the people, and we are here to serve the people. That's why I think I'm here to serve the people. And if this is going to be a better way to serve the community, recognitions and business, then it is a good thing to do. My only question, my last question is, does this affect the ending time of the meetings? Because there is a board a policy that states that the meetings have to be ended at 10:30. Is that moving the starting time at 6 o'clock? Does that have any effect on the ending time? And that's my last question, my last comment. Thank you so much.
That's a good question. I mean, I think the only thing on right now is just the beginning time. So the ending time would stay the same. Am I correct, Dr. Katziora?
Yes, this is the only part that we revised.
That's beginning time. And I don't know how we proceed, but if people still have comments, but I thought it was a good suggestion too. Someone said about taking effect, like July 1, and not change it right now, because we're going to be doing our meetings right now virtually anyhow. So that's a proposal. So I think at this point, my understanding is the idea of the second reading, making sure everyone's comments are heard and questions are answered before we proceed to a motion. But I don't know about, it's nothing in here, Dr. Katziora, about when it would start.
I would like to say that when whoever makes the motion could add that to the motion to that it begin July 1st or whatever date the board chooses, but that could be added to the motion. Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments before we move on to take a motion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that we didn't change the ending time, but I think there have been a couple of times that things have taken us so long that we have not gotten to all of the things that we need to do. And maybe moving up the beginning time will allow us to get everything done by 10:30. Okay. So I think that's where we're going.
That's a good point, Susan. Any more questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Now, does the person making the motion add when it would begin?
Yes.
Is that?
Can I make a motion? Can I make a motion that we approve this item with the understanding that the starting time for this change would be the first meeting after July 1 of 2020, and that the ending time remains 10:30 as stated by the policy in place. And lastly, that there is enough notification to the community of the change so that people know what is going to happen after July 1.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peeten,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. So the motion is, beginning after the first meeting after July 1, and ending time stays the same. Meeting begins at 6. Okay, moving on now to item I2A, resolution number 2019-20-68, written request for reduced days of operation and/or attendance due to emergency conditions. Ms. Maddox, can you share information pertaining to this item?
Yes, Educational Services is requesting board approval of the written request to reduce days of operation and attendance due to emergency conditions regarding COVID-19 to be submitted to the California Department of Education. This resolution applies to the state preschools that are located at Armada, Box Springs, Creekside, Seneca, Toronto elementary schools. The closure is effective March 16th, 2020, per order of Riverside County Public Health Officer, Dr. Kaiser, and it's scheduled to continue through the end of the school year, which is June 12th of 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
Has this district ever filed this resolution before or adopted this resolution before?
Ms. Maddox?
I'm not aware of it. I know this is because of the emergency public health that we've had because of COVID-19, Mr. Holguin, and we're required to do that.
So is this a resolution that all the districts or other districts are adopting as well?
Correct, to close the state preschools. It has to be a written request to the California Department of Education.
Thank you.
So we didn't have to do this for the regular schools, just for the preschools.
Correct, that's my understanding, correct.
Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve resolution 2019-20-68 as presented.
A second?
I'll second.
Go ahead,
Roll
Jen.
call.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson?
I'm sorry. Did she call?
Roll call. Mr.
Oh,
Johnson?
sorry. Aye. I'm sorry.
Mr.
sorry.
Holguin? That's okay. Mr. Holguin?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Peeten?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
For some reason, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, moving now to I3A, approval of the agreement for purchase and sale of joint escrow instructions. Mrs. Lopez, please. Can you share information pertaining to this item?
Thank you, Ms. Locke, Dr. Locke. At the previous board meetings, originally we had a report from the surplus committee, which declared the property, the vacant property on Cactus and Wilmont, as surplus property. A couple meetings after that, we presented you a waiver to approve so that we could bypass the bidding process, knowing that we had a prospective buyer. And so tonight we are asking for board approval to execute the final purchase and sale agreement, as well as open escrow for this property. And we've attached a copy of the agreement for you to review.
Okay, board members, do you have any questions or comments pertaining to this item?
I'd like to say I think we got a good price for this piece of property. It more than compensates for what we spent on the Marino Elementary property, so that's a good thing. I would like to know at some point how many other pieces of property the district owns. I know we have the High School 5 property. Is there anything else that we have that we're not building on?
Well, the one for, was it Marino Elementary?
Yes, but we're building on that.
Yeah.
Right. We can get that information to you, Mrs. Smith. We will research that and get it to you.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the delegation of authority and execution of final purchase and sale agreement? Motion to approve. Okay, second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay, moving to item J1, Williams Settlement Quarterly Report. Maddox, this is your item.
Yes, this is an acknowledgement item for the period of January through March 2020. No Williams complaints were received at the district or site level.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Okay, moving now to item K, comments from board members and superintendent.
Can I ask a question on the previous item before we go to comments, please?
Yes.
On the Williams settlement, Ms. Maddox, I appreciate that report. I just have a general question about the process. Do we know if we know at this point in time what the effect of this whole situation is going to be on the Williams process for this year at all?
Mr. O'Gean, I would have to get back to you on that because the William, they do get complaints regarding textbooks, facilities, and teacher assignments. So I would have to get back to you on that information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move to comments from board members and superintendent. Mr. Johnson, would you like to begin?
There's no one to my right, so I guess I better. All joking aside, I do want to mention some things that's been very, very obvious to all of us. I'm a sneaky guy, so and I'll tell you guys what I've been doing. I haven't done it in the last couple of days, but I normally drive around the district at night just to see, in other words, it's like, well, I've been not used that term. I'll just say it like this, just to see who's there. And ironically, I go and I see the same car. Now you say, what time do you go? Well, sometimes I go, I don't know, 8 o'clock, 9:30 one time, and I see the same car. So I just wanted Dr. Ketchiori to know that I don't know what time he comes to work, and nor do I know what time he leaves. But I do want those of you that don't sneak over there like I do, because I have nothing else to do. So I just go and see if he's there. I'm not going to call him, because he may be at home. But I do want you all to know that, and I hope, and I think you join me in saying how much we appreciate him for the work he's doing. Now, I know that perhaps during the day he needs to be there because so many things are going on. But then I'm thinking at night, that late at night. So when a person does something like that, they're letting us know how much they care about the people they work with, the job that they have, and the responsibilities that they have. They're not working for fanfare, and they don't have a sign up that says, hey, guess what? Drive down the street behind the building and you see that I'm working. But I just wanted to make sure that he knows that, yeah, I could call it just driving by, but I'd rather say sneaking by. Just to peep, because I just drive down the street, go behind the building to see who's there, and then I go back home. So it's not like I'm going someplace. I'm not. I have nothing else to do except be nosy. And every time I've been down there, I've seen that doggone car. So I want him to know in front of my colleagues how much we appreciate the work that he's been doing, not just during the daytime when he has 100% exposure, people can see him, but then those things that he's doing at night, and we don't even really know what he's doing at home. And then I also want to, thank all of you guys for your enthusiasm just today. I haven't seen you, but it appears like you guys are just like me and me. You just
couldn't wait to be back. Couldn't wait to, like for instance, Marcia asked, she intimated that she was gonna need some help with the agenda. She didn't need any help. She probably practiced every day for 2 weeks until the day came. You can just about tell that. But you know, all joking aside, thank you guys for your concern and your interest while we have been away for this entire district. So we believe that we've got a great team here. We've talked about the enrollment that we've had, that we have, not tonight, but we've talked about it. And we've talked about the comments from people that live in the city that talk about some of the things that we do for their children. Yeah, some of those things are not pleasant, but that's just the way life is. It's gonna always be that way. But just know that the majority of the people really appreciates the hard work that the board, the staff, and the entire district are putting in for the students of this great city. So with that, that's basically all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Holguin.
Oh, he thinks I'm still talking.
Mute.
That's the problem.
Sorry.
He thinks I'm still
Somebody
talking.
was sending me messages on the screen and I finally, sorry.
Marcia, he was giving me 30 minutes. That's what happened.
Oh,
How long did you speak? Well, doesn't matter.
28.
28?
Yes.
Okay. So I have to say, I normally I have my list of places that I attended and events that I attended. Of course, I don't have my list today because I haven't attended anything for the last 30 days other than virtual meetings and conferences and things like that. And I'm sure that many educators and many of you, not all of you, have been bombarded with invitations to attend certain Zoom conference calls and webinars and on and on and on. And sometimes it is difficult to choose which ones to attend and which ones not. But I say this because I am sure that people in the field, teachers, educators, classified people, management in school districts are struggling with the same thing at some point in time. But at the same time, I'm glad to say that in our district, with the direction of Dr. Katsura, and I may repeat some of the comments from Mr. Johnson, Dr. Johnson, I keep saying Dr. Johnson, that some of the comments that he made about the work by Dr. Katsura, I have to tell you that I'm impressed with the communication that he has been establishing almost on a daily basis with the entire team, with the board members, with the community, the phone calls, and those visits to the sites, and on and on and on and on. And I think that is critical. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think that those pieces are critical for the success of the process, as the circumstances don't allow for any other way to do it, but stay on top of what happens minute by minute, the changes at the local level by the authorities, by the state government, by the federal government, and on and on. So I just have to say that I'm impressed with how things have been working here in the district. And we've been getting a lot of information from other districts too. And I can say that this district is way ahead in many different aspects when compared to other districts. So thank you, Dr. Katsura, and thank you to everyone that is out there working. I have to say thank you to all the educators in the district, because one way or the other, they're trying to stay in contact with the students, in contact with each other, in contact with the families, and getting ready for the distant learning structure process that is going to start taking place on Monday. So this is exciting in many aspects, because the students are going to continue receiving the education. Thank you to the classified staff, nutrition services, transportation, maintenance, and all those members of staff that have been attending the sites to help with the nutrition services, all those that have done anything during this time to continue the services being provided to the students in one way or the other. That the classified team that have been present, I think it is amazing. And then, of course, the management team, the administrators of the different sites that have been there monitoring or doing several things, and at the district office as well. And then I also have to say thank you to the families that have been so patient with the process. I mean, it's difficult to stay at home after you run all over the place day by day by day by day, and then suddenly they tell you, don't leave home. You're stuck here for a long time. It's been 1 month since last time I went out to, other than the supermarket or things like that. It's been a month, so people have gone through the same thing. It is difficult, so it takes a lot of patience. So thank you to the families, thank you to the students for maintaining that. Hopefully those positive spirits, and then I have to say thank you to all those members of the community, members of the health field, all the doctors, nurses, and all the health people that work in the health field for keeping that movement going to make sure that the people are treated properly and in many cases safe from these difficult circumstances. In many cases it doesn't happen that way, but they're still there fighting day and night. And we've seen a lot of pictures and clips on TV of people that are so tired, but they're still there. So thank you to all of them. Whoever is listening, I just cannot say enough how much I appreciate everything that is happening, all the respondents, all the police officers, all the ambulances, personnel, and on and on and on. So I just have to say that with appreciation to the entire community for staying together, we need to stay together on this. We need to be together all the way from the Board of Education, from the local government, from all the way from the top to the bottom, side to side. I think we need to continue staying together, working together for the benefit of our students, and whatever that means in our positions, in our situations, whatever that means that we have to do, that's what we have to do to stay together, working as a team in this process, and so that at the end the benefit still goes to the students and their families. So all the actions taken this evening, I thank my colleagues for staying on top of these things, and the suggestions and the changes and the keeping this and keeping that. I think it is critical we continue working, like Dr. Locke mentioned at the beginning. Business still taking place. We still need to continue serving. We still need to continue working. So thank you for all that to my colleagues, and again to the entire administration. And I just have to close by saying to the entire community, I'm dying to go back to the boardroom. I'm dying to go back to events. I'm dying to go back to basketball games, concerts, and on and on and on. And of course to my office too. I have to say that too. That I'm dying to go back out there and continue having a great time with everybody in their community. And for now, please stay safe, stay healthy. Hope to see you all soon again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mrs. Smith.
Yes, I'd like to say congratulations to Connie Edwards, Lynn Sheffield, and their team on receiving the Magna Award. This is a national award that was received by Moreno Valley Unified School District for their program. I'm sorry that we couldn't go to Chicago and have that national recognition, but I really appreciate the things that you're doing for our students in our community. Also, I'd like to thank everyone in the district for their handling of this COVID-19 crisis, especially nutrition services. Food is important to our students, and a lot of families have difficulty providing that. And it's really great that we can be there and provide not only lunch, but also a little breakfast snack. I think they get 2 meals every time they go. For some students, this is a real lifeline for them and something they really need. Other people, maybe they can afford food at home. That's great. But for our students, not only does it connect them with their schools, but it gives them these needed meals at a time when they might not have them otherwise. I'd like to thank Dr. Verde and all that he did in working with our employee groups on the MOU to keep our district up and running. Mrs. Maddox and the educational services team, especially professional development, everything that you've done to get this online learning going and started here in our district. Looking forward to seeing how it looks Monday. I know there'll be some glitches, but I think it'll be good for our students to have that connection, to feel like they're moving ahead. Especially thank you to Dr. Kedziora, our leader. I don't think we could ask for anybody. It seems like this year has been more than one crisis, but we can always count on him for leading us through the difficult times. So thank you, Dr. Kedziora. And my last thank you is to the parents. I know it's hard to have your students home all day, and a lot of you are working from home and doing that, and doing school at home is a lot. So thank you to our parents in our community for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Mr. Peden.
Yeah, so I'm one of those parents, right, that I'm now working remotely. My children are home, and trying to balance all of that, trying to balance family, trying to balance their learning, trying to balance work. I work in the nonprofit space, and there's a lot of community need now. So we're extremely busy. So not only are we trying to fulfill the needs at home and balance our lives and work through this crisis, there's a huge need in our community. And so, you know, the reality is that this is a crisis. And there's a lot of thank yous that need to go around as it relates to what community really means. And, you know, first and foremost, I will say, and just as my colleagues have stated, you know, number one, our children, our students miss their teachers. And I have no doubt in my mind that our teachers miss their students. And my children are dying to go back to school. And we are, just as a parent, I'm extremely excited about the distance learning program that's going to be starting. And I want to thank each and every one of you that have had a hand in that, from Dr. Kedziora all the way down to everybody, and for the folks that are in the trenches doing the work on the ground. That creating and designing a distance learning program is no small feat, right? That takes a lot of work. And you all from the very beginning said, you know, we're not going to just throw something together. We're going to do something that's extremely intentional so that we can make sure that our young people are learning, because that's how important this is. So I want to just thank all of you for that. I also want to thank, just as all of you have also, is the nutrition services, our custodians, our classified, our certified staff, everybody that are, I mean, here's the reality, right? They're putting themselves in harm's way. You know, the coronavirus is not something to take lightly. It's very serious. And if the community feels how I feel when we go outside, we are doing everything we can to prepare to make sure that if we are infected, we don't transmit that to other people, and or we don't put ourselves in a position where we get infected. So when Dr. Kedziora calls on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'm sure he's dying to call on Tuesday and Thursday to all the homes and tells everybody to stay in place, cover your face. We all need to make sure that we're taking that extremely serious. And we need to make sure we're recognizing the staff in this institution. And I'm sure that our colleagues, you know, we all feel the same way, that are actually out there in the community doing the services, providing 200,000 lunches since we've been doing this. That's amazing. And usually I don't take too much time. I'm gathering all my time for all my the time that I didn't do many comments. But I do want to share a small story that, you know, we're blessed to live in Moreno Valley. We're blessed to be able to have folks like all of you that work for our community. In the very early stages of this, I was getting a lot of calls from folks in other communities and surrounding communities asking, are you guys doing grab and go lunch? Absolutely. Well, we have students, we have community members that are students that are in other communities that don't have access to lunch. Their districts aren't doing it. Is it going to be a problem if that student comes to your district and grabs and gets some food? You know, here in Moreno Valley, we service everybody that's in need. And that's from everybody that's in need. We take that very serious, and we're here to help our community. So I just want to thank Dr. Kedziora. Thank you for having a heart for our community and doing what's right. And that goes for each and every one of you that sits on the cabinet, Dr. Verde, Maribel, Susanna, Claudia, everybody. And I'm missing, you know, of course, everybody that works in this district. I just want to thank you guys all for that. And in addition, we have to, just like Mr. Holguin, our medical professionals, God bless them, because they are putting themselves in harm's way and they are saving lives. And another reality is Moreno Valley is going to be hit pretty hard by the coronavirus. We're already either second or first. We're up there in terms of cases and deaths. And that's a reality that we have to recognize. And with that comes a recognition of those folks that are putting themselves and doing the work for the community to make sure we are all healthy and safe. So I just want to thank everybody. That's extremely important. And grocery workers, I go grocery shopping and, gosh, our essential workers, how powerful it is. And they wake up every day and they go do the job because they know the community needs, we need to eat, and they're doing the job, not because they need to go get a paycheck. Yeah, of course they need a paycheck, but they're doing it because they're there to help our community, and our community is in need and they're stepping up. And I just want to thank everybody that's involved in that process, to UPS, to postal workers, to everybody that's a essential worker, grocery workers. It's amazing that when we're in times of crisis that we remove ourselves and we serve our community. So thank you to all the workers in our community that are doing what's necessary to keep us all protected and healthy. That's all I had. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I just, to be honest with you, I just want to continue just thanking everybody. I mean, one of the highlights of my day is when I take my daughters to, I've told Dr. Kidzora this, is when I go, finally get out of my house because I'm locked in my office working all day, right? To take my children to go pick up their grab and go lunch, and I'm able to see folks that are part of our family in the district doing the work and putting themselves out there to feed all the children, and how amazing that is. So my hat goes off to all of you. Thank you so much. And we'll get through this together, and let's just stay united and make sure that everything that we're doing is for our community and to help people that are in need. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. And I know in this section of comments, we're going to have a lot of repeating, but I think this is all important because it's coming from our hearts. And like my colleagues, I want to thank Dr. Kidzora for everything he's done. In addition to focusing, on our students, he has consistently shared information with parents, not just about educational issues and updates, but also about the resources that are available within our community for our families. And he truly cares about the community that he lives in. But however, as he would be the first to say, he does not do it alone. And he's always saying that. We've got a phenomenal cabinet. We've got a great management team. Our people that have been designated as essential workers, our certificated and classified employees. And the one thing too is, as Dr. Birdie was talking about, the strong collaborative spirit of our certificated and classified unions and their focus on educating our students. Because of all those things coming together, we're able to move forward. And I would be remiss, like everyone else talked about, is our parents, acknowledging our parents. And as Mr. Peden said, he is one of those parents. And I know from both sides of my house, my son has his children, my daughter has hers, and they're two different districts and what they're doing, going through. But our parents, it's difficult. They're now transitioning their homes into classrooms. So it is a big shift. And I know the one thing our district's different, Marina Valley, we recognize that, the work that they're doing. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge for the parents, the students, the teachers, our employees. And there's no manual to refer to handle this type of health crisis. In the educational world or even in our country. So I really do truly applaud, as we all do, as my colleagues have said, our district employees, our parents, our community, and I'm proud of California overall because taking this health crisis serious, putting the steps in, to keep people safe. And when you go to the store, you see people wearing a mask, they're driving, people are doing this, as you see Dr. Ketsu or and Claudia wearing their mask, tonight, and us working from our homes. So again, people were working hard to stay safe. This is our new normal for a while, and we're venturing through it. But I just want to say, as living in this community, and being a parent, a grandparent, and, just stepping back as we're all doing and seeing what we're doing and what our phenomenal staff are doing. I just want to thank everyone. As we said, our healthcare workers. It's interesting that when a time like this, a crisis comes, the people in America come together. It's interesting, but we're strong, and we'll make it through this. So again, thank you to, like I said, to my colleagues, to Dr. Kitziora, cabinet, all of our staff. I think we're doing a good job given the circumstances. So Dr. Kitziora, final comments. You're on.
All right. Am I back on now?
You're on. Yes.
I just want to thank all the board for those kind comments, and to let you know that I tell the community all the time about how interested you are and how much you care, and how involved you are in, making sure that needs are met. So I just think it's really important for the community to know that the 5 board members are very interested in the continued operation, but continue to provide me support and the district in many ways by just their thoughtfulness and their ideas, and they're just the things that they ask about and want to know more about. So I think everyone needs to know that. Anthony Macias is a student in our district, and he wrote a comment tonight on something that Claudia was taking comments on about the board meeting, and he wanted to know about ACT and SAT test prep. And so I wanted to remind students that if you go into Schmoop, it's on your Chromebook, and you go through Clever, you click on Clever, and then there's the app for Schmoop. In Schmoop, there is ACT and SAT test prep. So I wanted to answer his question and make sure that he knew we were listening. And that's why we're here, because of students and families. And that's what we enjoy doing, is helping you find solutions. And I want to thank the public for the number of questions that you've asked. And we pride ourselves in returning those questions or those responses promptly. Many of you may not know, when the schools were announced that they were closed on Friday, March 13th, we have a public information officer, and she was about to deliver a baby. I was worried every time I worked with her that it would be that day. And not that I haven't delivered a baby before, but just that she would have it with me. And I mean, we're not together, but I'm just,
I know what you mean.
But I'm just saying, she was in that March 13th, we stayed together late that night, and we were here a long time because we had to get a lot of communication out. And it began to be like midnight. And I said to Anna E., you should go home. You're you're having a baby. And she said, Dr. Kitzer, I can't sleep, and you make me laugh. And so I'd rather be here with you laughing than, doing anything else right now. And I want you to know that she had the baby, her baby girl, on March the 15th. It was a Sunday. And I think it was because of COVID-19 that her baby came early, and all the just pressure that she was under. But I just wanted to congratulate her on the arrival of her daughter and her husband, Walter, and just to thank them. A lot of you don't know her. She's new to our district, but she's part of our family. And I don't know if you know, but our last public information officer, while he was here, Chris Weddle, he and his wife had a baby while they were in that office. So I'm going to have that checked. But we have another interim public information officer. His name's Stephen Barrett, and we had worked to have him in place, knowing Anna E. was going to have a baby, and he started that Monday, and he's never missed a beat either. And all of you that write your comments to public information today, there were 80 people that wrote things in. And Stephen works tirelessly to get answers and solutions. And so I just want to thank, that office. And sometimes we don't know where these things come from, but those are the people behind the scenes. But I want to thank the students and families for sending us all those questions, and the employees, because we can't answer them too much, and we cannot tell you enough certain things, and we don't mind saying it over and over, different things that we do, because I know people are under a lot of stress. So please keep sending your questions to public information at mvusd.net, and we will continue to answer those. I do want to say that, you know, Claudia Hargay, this was her first time to do a virtual meeting like this with the board and the cabinet. And, you know, she did a great job. She was very, you know, her expertise and giving a virtual board meeting now could be a workshop. Today, when she sent the email to the board and the cabinet about just tips and things like that, she really was thoughtful and very caring. And Brenda and Robin Romero, you know, we had to change how we do public comments. And so today they were there, and, you know, people's jobs, their roles have changed, how they perform and what they do. And I'm grateful for the agility that all of these employees, you know, show during this, because, you know, they didn't always sign up to do this. You know, they didn't know they were going to have to do these things. And so it means a great deal when employees do whatever's needed to make sure that we continue to do what we need to do. And then, you know, the essential personnel that have been here, and everyone's essential, but in this crisis, we have to identify that. And those are nutrition services workers and people that work to get people paid. And we've mentioned these, but I just want to say thank you for, you know, all that you've done, and the principals and the assistant principals that are at every grab and go site every day to support everyone, and for the students to see, because it brings a sense of connection. They're excited, and even high school students are excited to see their principal and their assistant principal. When Mr. Peden said that his kids are dying to go back to school, it's a good thing, because when they go back, I hope they are happy and that they are excited, you know, more excited than they've ever been. I want to thank Jolynn Neal, our association president, Harold Acord, our MVA president, and Selena Joyner from CTA for their collaborative efforts to support the district and to problem solve with us. Jim Burleson, who's our transportation director. You know, I'm not going to name everybody that I should, but I want to say that, you know, when he was asked to deliver food to families that can't get there, or families that had, you know, different circumstances, he has never once wavered from that commitment. And he makes sure that, you know, when a family has an issue or a challenge and they can't get to grab and go, that he is delivering food on the buses in our district. So I want to thank him. And Anthony Pipkins, who's our director of maintenance and operations, when anybody doesn't have gloves or face coverings or needs soap or needs anything, he ordered Easy Ups, 20 of them, because schools didn't have them when we started the grab and go program. And he made sure they were assembled at schools and put out there. And so, you know, as we watch this happen, the grab and go meals evolved over these last few weeks. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with our distance learning program. It's going to evolve and it's going to get better. And some people will start out wonderful, and then other people will take some time. But I just want everybody to know how much we appreciate their patience and their support and their understanding. And then tomorrow will be historical in our district. It was going to be tax day, but it's not anymore. And it's the day that 4,700 first and second graders in Moreno Valley Unified School District will get a Chromebook to take home. And that's a wonderful initiative. And I want to thank Glenn Allegre and the information technology team for counting the Chromebooks in the entire district to make this happen. And Susanna Lopez for leading them in that, and having a correct inventory of what we could do and what existed. We have carts in schools, and so we didn't buy all these, we just looked at what we had and we've rethought how we were doing things. And that's the innovation and creativity that is needed in a crisis. And I'm very proud that happened. I hope you keep reading, students out there. You know, I've said this before, I'm old, you know, I'm 60, but when I was growing up in you know, Memphis, and you know, we didn't have school because it snowed. And you know, I know this sounds like a story your parents would tell, but we read. We read books, and we didn't have a lot. We didn't have cable TV. We had 3 channels. Yes, there was a time when there was just black and white TVs, and we didn't have a lot of those things that you have today, which are wonderful. But I want you to know you have the ability right now to read and to read to others and share. And I think that's so valuable. And I hope you will use this time to increase your skills in learning, because anybody that becomes a better reader or a better writer becomes a better communicator and a better person that's more marketable in whatever job they choose to go in. And then I hope you all learn to keep a schedule during this. It's very difficult. Sometimes I was on a Zoom class with a Mr. Noel Garrett from Mountain View one day, and all the students said, "Mr. Garrett, we're tired." And the students had all said they stayed up till 1 and 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on the, whatever, YouTube or whatever they were doing. And, it's really important, because you want to keep a schedule and not, disrupt your sleep patterns, and really, work to go to bed, at a decent time, and get up and have some habits and a schedule whenever you can. That's going to help you when you go back to school and when you, have other responsibilities. And tomorrow, our custodian in this building, Juan Martinez, he started last year, 1 year ago in our building. And he's a young man. I don't know how old he's going to be. He told me, but tomorrow's his birthday.
At 25.
And he started on tax day. And, I said to him when he started, I said, "How old are you?" And he said, because he looks like a little boy to me. And he said, "Dr. Kidzora, I'm going to be," I think he said 28. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Well," he said, "Tomorrow I'm going to be 29. This was last year." And I said, "No, tonight I'm going to be 29. It was April 15th. And I said, "And you're working on your birthday?" And guess what? He's working tomorrow on his birthday again. And he's happy to be here. And we're happy he's here, because every day he disinfects this place, like up and down, all around. And wherever anybody's been, he's wiping the door handles, or he's cleaning and disinfecting. So I just can't thank him enough, and Anthony Pipkins and his team for that. But I do want to say that I thank y'all for remembering to stay in place and covering your face and maintaining your space. And that through all of this, we have a leadership theme this year that we're going to lift to rise. And it takes all of us continuing our 11 commitments and remembering our mission statement and remembering our 4 goals and our 14 outcomes, that all of those are still in place. The buildings are closed, but learning continues. And so just like that teacher I read about tonight, Alice Wheatley, she, is what we want. And we want you to continue to learn and continue to have these experiences. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate all your emails and your texts and your phone calls. Every one of you, you brighten my day. And even the questions that are difficult, it helps us learn about our organization and helps us do a better job. And again, I want to thank the board for their support and the cabinet for their continued, just redefining their roles and redefining their responsibilities, but all the employees in our district and our community, because we're all doing something different than we were March 13th. And so for that, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to serve. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to Dr. Locke. What an excellent job you did this evening, conducting your first virtual board meeting. And you should be really proud of yourself. And we are all proud that we were able to get through this evening. And it's what time? 9:08. So
9:08.
Thank you, Dr. Locke.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kidzora. Okay, with no further business to come before the Board of Education, the meeting's being adjourned at 9:08.